The airport was a blur of hurried footsteps and flickering departure screens. But for Daniel Harper, it felt like the world had slowed to a crawl. His 6-year-old daughter, Lily, clung to his hand, her tiny fingers gripping his with the kind of trust that made his heart ache. At 32, Daniel was a single dad, a widower, and a man who'd learned to carry grief quietly. Today, though, he was late to pick up his sister, Emma, who was flying in from Chicago to help him through another tough week. The sign he'd scrawled, Emma Harper, wobbled in his free hand as he scanned the crowd spilling out of arrivals at JFK. "Dad, is that her?" Lily pointed at a woman in a navy coat, her auburn hair catching the light as she wheeled a suitcase toward them. Daniel squinted. The woman looked nothing like Emma, too tall, too polished, her stride too purposeful. But Lily was already tugging him forward, her excitement overriding his doubt. Before he could stop her, Lily waved the sign and shouted, "Annie Emma." The woman paused, her eyes locking onto the sign. A flicker of confusion crossed her face, but then she smiled, a warm, unguarded smile that made Daniel's breath catch. "I think you've got the wrong person," she said, her voice soft but clear, "but I'm happy to meet you both." Daniel flushed, scrambling for words. "I'm so sorry. My sister, she's got short blonde hair, glasses. You're definitely not her." He laughed nervously, rubbing the back of his neck. "Lily, we gotta wait for the right Emma." But Lily, undeterred, grinned up at the woman. "You look nice, though. What's your name?" The woman knelt to Lily's level, her suitcase forgotten. "I'm Claire," she said. "And you must be a princess?" Lily giggled, her shyness melting. "I'm Lily. And this is my dad, Daniel." Claire stood, extending a hand to Daniel. "Nice to meet you, Daniel. Don't worry about the mix-up. Airports are chaos." There was something about her ease, her kindness, that disarmed him. But before he could say more, his phone buzzed. A text from Emma. "Flight delayed. Stuck in Chicago till tonight." "Sorry," Danny groaned, the weight of the day crashing down. He'd taken the afternoon off from his construction job, burning one of his few sick days, and now he'd have to juggle Lily's bedtime routine alone again. Claire, still standing there, tilted her head. "Everything okay?" "Just life," he said, forcing a smile. "My sister's flight got delayed. We're here for nothing." Claire glanced at Lily, who was now doodling on the back of the sign with a crayon from her backpack. "Doesn't look like nothing," she said. "You've got a great kid there. And you're doing the airport run solo." "That's no small feat," Daniel shrugged, deflecting. "Just doing what dads do." Claire's eyes softened, like she saw something he wasn't saying. "Mind if I sit with you two for a bit? My ride's not here yet either." He hesitated, but Lily was already nodding vigorously. "Okay," he said, "but only if you don't mind Lily's endless questions." For the next half hour, Claire sat with them in the airport's bustling food court, sipping coffee while Lily peppered her with questions about everything from her favorite color, green, to whether she'd ever seen a real unicorn. Not yet, but she was hopeful. Daniel watched, amazed at how easily Claire connected with his daughter. She didn't check her phone once, didn't rush off, even though her sleek coat and leather suitcase screamed, important person with places to be. As they talked, Daniel let slip bits of his story, a carpenter by trade, raising Lily alone since his wife, Sarah, passed from cancer 3 years ago. He kept it light, but Claire's quiet nods told him she heard the unspoken pain. Then her phone rang. She glanced at the screen, her expression shifting to something unreadable. "I have to take this," she said, stepping away. When she returned, her demeanor was different, more focused, like she'd made a decision. "Daniel," she said, "I need to tell you something. I'm not just some random traveler. I'm Claire Ellison, CEO of Ellison Innovations. We build tech to help families, especially kids, get access to education and healthcare." Daniel blinked, the name clicking. Ellison Innovations was huge, a company plastered across headlines for its work in underserved communities. "Wow," he said, "that's impressive." She waved it off. "What's impressive is you. I heard you mention Lily's school struggling to keep its art program. I've been looking for someone like you, someone who shows up, every day, for the people they love. I want to help." He stared, unsure if he'd heard right. "Help? How?" "I'd like to fund a new art program for Lily's school," Claire said. "And not just that. I want you to help us design a community center for single parents. A place where people like you can get support, childcare, a community. You know what families need because you live it." Daniel's throat tightened. He looked at Lily, who was happily coloring, oblivious to the magnitude of the moment. "I don't know what to say," he managed. "Why us?" Claire leaned in, her voice steady but emotional. Because I was raised by a single dad, too. He worked 2 jobs, never complained, and gave me everything. When I saw you with Lily, I saw him. I've been looking for a way to give back, to find people who remind me of what matters. And then I met you too. The words hit Daniel like a wave. He'd spent years feeling invisible, grinding through days to keep Lily's world steady. Now, here was this stranger. No, this woman who felt like anything but a stranger, seeing him, really seeing him. I don't know how to thank you, he said, his voice thick. You already did, Claire replied, smiling at Lily. You let me spend an afternoon with the best company in this airport. As Claire's driver finally pulled up, she handed Daniel her card. This isn't goodbye, she said. We're going to make this happen. For Lily. For you. For every family like yours. Daniel watched her go, the card heavy in his hand. Lily tugged at his sleeve. Dad, is Claire coming to my school? He laughed, tears stinging his eyes. Maybe, kiddo. Maybe she's going to do a lot more than that. That night, as Daniel tucked Lily into bed, he felt something he hadn't in years. Hope. A chance encounter, a moment of kindness, had shifted everything. He wasn't just a single dad struggling to get by anymore. He was part of something bigger, a ripple of compassion that could change lives, starting with his own. And somewhere, in a city of millions, a CEO drove away from JFK, smiling to herself, knowing she'd found exactly what she'd been searching for. A reminder that the smallest moments of humanity could spark the greatest change.